This is Carl with the three things I'm watching for Thursday, July the 17th. Starting out that Brazilian safrina harvest, starting to pick up the pace a little bit, but there's some concerns in Brazil. We had our webinar yesterday with Eduardo Vannon from AgriInvest, and he reiterated the fact that storage is very, very tight in Brazil. They had that big soybean crop. Now they've got a huge corn crop coming and just some backups, not being able to get the crop out. It's the logistics issues. And these are favoring the United States in the global market. Also seeing, on the soybean side out of Brazil, Argentina offering soybeans at a 40 cent per bushel discount to Brazil, taking a little bit of their demand away. So uh, inventory rapidly filling in Brazil doesn't mean we won't see pressure from them, but we're just not seeing it right now. Another story, and I want to keep this in Brazil, and this has to do with our 50% tariffs. And I'm not going to go through everything with this. And again, we talked about this with Eduardo yesterday, and then I broke it down in last night's market recap. But the volume of U.S. beef that we get out of Brazil, if we tariff it at 50%, it's going to cause some issues in the United States. 22% of beef sold in the United States is imported from Brazil, and that's pretty much all for hamburger. 70% of the imports from Brazil, and that's 230,000 metric tons. In 2024 is what we imported. About 70% of that makes its way in for grinding for ground beef. We start cutting our ground beef supply in a market that's already appreciating, very high beef values, putting a little bit of strain on the consumer. If we take, because that 50% tariff, you're not going to see beef trade. You're not going to see trade. Matter of fact, Brazil's pretty much shutting off all beef sales. They're not going to ship what they had sold to us because of the tariffs. Take one out of every five packages of beef out of your supply case at your local retailer. That's what you're facing now if we go through with these tariffs. There's talk this morning those could be kicked back to a little bit, but if these go through, remember, inflation already been creeping higher the last few months. This would propel it even further to the upside, I'm afraid. That's why I really question whether or not we will go through with those tariffs. And the final thing, and I want to talk about this. This is kind of slipping in the market. Heat in China, extreme heat in northern China. Matter of fact, it's hot enough that when they're moving hogs around, they have fire departments following the trailers, spraying the hogs down to keep them cool. I lived in Iowa for a long time, and I don't ever remember seeing fire trucks follow around cattle trucks, cooling off the hogs so we could move them. Temperatures in well above 100 degrees in northern China today. If it's putting that much stress on hogs, I would have to expect it's putting some stress on the crops too. Probably be a little bit before we get any, indication if there's been crop damage, but that extreme heat, file that away. We'll keep watching that one. And of course, final thing, it's Thursday. We're going to get export numbers, trade expecting to see pretty good numbers on corn, good number on wheat, so-so number on soybeans. Those are the three things I'm watching today.